On a chilly Saturday evening in Fitchburg, we welcome you to the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, where tonight it is high school hockey on FATV as the Red Raiders of Fitchburg Monty Tech take on the Blue Knights of Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. I'm John Gugarty, joined as always by Dan Bolek. Dan, it's hockey night in Fitchburg. It's always a good time.
Indeed it is, and these are two strong teams. The last time these two teams played just 10 days ago, it was a defensive battle between these two sides, and we'll see what we're in for tonight.
Back on January the 11th, it was Fitchburg Monty Tech emerging with a 2-0 victory over Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. Red Raiders went on to beat Gardner 5-1. Their last scheduled game would have been this past Thursday against Shawsheen, but that got postponed. So this is a fairly rested Red Raiders side, and they're taking on a Blue Knights squad that's lost their last 4 games.
And not only that, 3 of those games lost in shutout fashion. 3-0 to Assabet. They had a game against Oakmont that got chalked off, I presume due to weather. They'll try to make that up later in the year. Lost to Fitchburg Monty Tech 2-0. Lost to the Griffin Vikings of Greater Lowell in the show, the Tech 3-2, or perhaps the Viking Griffins.
I like Griffin Vikings.
And then their most recent game was Wednesday night against the Tigers of Littleton Bromfield, and that was another loss, 3-0. Garrett Hakey, 23 saves, but yeah, that's the 3rd time in the last 4 games that LAS has had no goals to show for their efforts, and the 5th time this season of the same thing. This LAS team, very strong defensively. They've got 2 great goaltenders in Kyle McGrath and Garrett Hakey. McGrath a senior, Hakey a junior. They've conceded just 23 goals between them. There's an empty net thrown in there for 24 conceded across 11 games, which is pretty good.
That's really good. The 24 goals against is the least in the entire Coughlin Conference. And second place is Fitchburg Monty Tech. The difference, of course, is Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley has only scored 19 times this season versus 43 for the Red Raiders. So Fitchburg Monty Tech has been able to stifle opposing offenses, but they have also been able to put the puck into the net in their own right. And we were talking about it before the game, Dan. This Fitchburg Monty Tech side has 2 really strong offensive lines.
Indeed, and it's a set of juniors on that first line that can really get things done. Cody Berkio, Colin Hines, and Sam Jaramillo have combined for 23 of the Red Raiders' 43 goals this season. Jaramillo with a team high 20 points, Berkio 18, Hines 17. It's a very good first line to have. And the second line's no slouch either. Kyle Gendron, he's got 5 goals and 4 assists this year, the sophomore forward. Jacob Pruno has 5 goals to his credit as well. Nick Paquette, he scored twice in that game against Gardner, including the game-winning goal in the first of a historic stretch that occurred late in that contest.
You look at the other side for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. I'm sorry, Dan, you were setting up a historic stretch.
I was.
Tell me about the historic stretch.
Yes, so in that historic stretch, that was 3 goals in a span of just 13 seconds. It was Nick Paquette, Kyle Gendron, and Jacob Pruno striking 2 goals in 6, then another one in 7 seconds after that. It was a tremendous feat by the Red Raiders at the tail end of a major power play to come away with a 5-1 victory over Gardner. I have not been able to confirm whether or not that's a state record, but I can tell you, if this state were Michigan, it would in fact be a record, because the record in Michigan is 15 seconds.
And how many times living in Massachusetts have you thought to yourself, man, if only we were Michigan, everything would be better?
That's probably the first time. If this
historically speaking, Maine is basically just the Upper Peninsula of Massachusetts. Like, if you really think about it, we should start calling Maiders Youpers. We shouldn't explain this joke, but that's what we should do.
I'm just glad I understand it. But let's go back and talk about Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley for a moment.
So we talked about the goal-scoring threats for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Other side of the equation for the Blue Knights, it's a little bit harder to come by, as we've talked about, but they do have a couple of threats offensively. Logan Martin, 5 goals on the season. Also Nick Fortier, the senior captain. He has 4 goals to his side.
And Tyler Fortier, his younger brother, leads the team in point scoring on the year. He had 2 goals and 6 assists for 8 points last year as a freshman defenseman. This year, as a sophomore, has already exceeded that mark. 2 goals and 8 assists for a team-high 10 points. So he's factored into more than half of the goals that LAS has scored this year.
It's not an entirely punchless side for the Blue Knights. They're a competent squad, as we said, tremendous on the defensive side of the puck. If they can, get the offense going a little bit, they can definitely give the Red Raiders a game here.
Yep, and I was talking with Eric Short earlier this week, 22nd year head coach for the Blue Knights. And he mentioned, this is also a really young team that he has at his disposal. Just 5 upperclassmen, 3 seniors, 2 juniors, and of those 5, 2 of them are the goalies in McGrath and Hakey. So he's got a lot of youth there, but he's mentioned, even with the number of losses, they've always been in it. They've always been in the thick of the fight, because the worst loss they've had all year is 3-0, which they've done a few times already. They're sick of that episode, but the fact is they've been able to hold teams at bay throughout. And you look at the numbers. Kyle McGrath, unofficial stats, 254 goals against for McGrath. Hakey's got a 138. There's a game that they didn't enter goaltending information for, so those stats could be a little worse for one of those goalkeepers. But still, those are tremendous stats to have. At Fitchburg Monty Tech, they've been going with a bit of a tandem as well with a pair of sophomores, Owen Richard and Easton Minardi.
Both of them coming in with unofficially 2.17 goals against on the season. Richard has made a few more saves, or a bit better save percentage, I should say. 126 saves against 137 shots for the sophomore Owen Richards. Easton Minardi, 132 saves on 145 shots, but again, there's always the lingering caveat. That's a little unofficial.
Yep, I know for Minardi it's estimated. For Richard, I believe those stats are official. But yeah, they've been tandeming throughout the season as well. Richard has had the last 2 starts for the Red Raiders and played very well against Gardner. 18 saves. Oh, that was actually a carryover. I forgot to actually change that section of the setup. I think it was only 15 saves now that I think of it. I found the one typo I made in my stat sheet.
It's always one.
Always one.
Always one. Hopefully exactly one.
Hopefully it's just that. It's just that part. But yeah, in that game against Gardner, Cody Berfio had the opening goal. Nick Paquette had his brace. Kyle Gendron and Jacob Pruno had the 2 remaining goals in that one. And I think it was 15 saves, something of that nature for Owen Richard. And the one goal he conceded was on a double redirection. It was going to be a challenging shot for any goaltender to stop.
No goaltender, and you know this very well, Mr. Bolek, no goaltender can stop every shot. So if you make the saves you need to make, and you make a couple that you really shouldn't make, you're going to have yourself a good night. Is that about the size of it?
Yeah, it's like you're just trying to make all the saves that you can make, and Richard played very well on Tuesday night, but again, didn't get a good look. We'll find out in a few moments who's going to be starting in goal for these 2 teams tonight.
It looked like Easton Minardi was taking the majority of the shots in warm-ups for the Red Raiders. Owen Richards spent most of the warm-up time just kind of huddled over near the Fitchburg Monty Tech bench, but we'll see.
And that could also be just as much of a sign that it'd be Richard getting the start, because you want to warm up the goalie. That's going to be serving as the reserve a little more, because you don't want to push the starter a little too hard. But again, we will find out. And I know for LAS, they've been more or less alternating between the 2 netminders, McGrath and Hakey, and I can tell you that Hakey had the last game, so it could be McGrath's turn tonight. But again, that's what Jim LaPointe is for, to tell us the answers to these questions.
That's absolutely true. It seems like it might be time to send it down to Mr. LaPointe. Does that sound like a plan? All right, let's hear from the public address announcer. We'll get starting lineups for both teams and the national anthems. Don't go anywhere. It's Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV.
Good evening, high school hockey fans, and welcome to the Wallace Civic Center for Hockey Night in Fitchburg, Coughlin Conference matchup between the Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley Blue Knights and the Fitchburg Monty Tech Red Raiders. Here are the starting lineups. First for the Knights. At wing, number 12, Nick Fortier. At wing, number 5, Owen Hurley. Center number 9, Andrew Nikosha. Defense, number 6, Jack Heffernan. Defense, number 10, Tyler Fortier. And in goal for the Knights, number 1, Kyle McGrath. Head coach for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley is Eric Short. Now for the Red Raiders at right wing, number 18, Cody Berkio. Starting at center, number 22, Sammy Jaramillo. Left wing, number 20, Colin Hines. Defense, number 24, Cam Begnosh. Defense, number 21, Wyatt Peters. And in goal, number 30, Easton Minardi. The head coach is Steve Lowney. Officials for tonight's game, Brian Marfione and Mike Ware. Ladies and gentlemen, students, at this time, I'd ask you all to please stand as we honor our nation and the flag with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV, just about ready to drop the puck as the Red Raiders of Fitchburg Monty Tech will take on the Blue Knights of Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. I'm John Gugerty, joined of course by Dan Bolak. We were able to confirm that it will be Easton Minardi starting in goal for the Red Raiders. He'll be opposed by Kyle McGrath, the senior Blue Knight. It's red and blue here in Fitchburg. It's not Leominster, but it's got a little bit of a rivalry feel, just a little bit.
Yep,
just a little bit.
Yep, these two teams, Coughlin Conference rivals, they meet twice a year. The way that the Bushnell tournament was set up, it was either going to be Leominster or LAS that Fitchburg was going to play 3 times this season, depending on who they drew. It ended up being Leominster. The Red Raiders play Leominster one more time to cap off the regular season on February 11th, as currently scheduled. But tonight they'll play LAS for the second and final scheduled time this year.
We are just about ready to drop the puck, and here with the first period play-by-play is Dan Bolak.
Thank you very much, John. Draw one by the Blue Knights in the road blue uniforms with maroon trim and white numbers. We'll go right to left in the first period, and you can see Jaramillo sneak in right there trying to steal it away, and he's going to draw a penalty at the very least. And the Red Raiders are going to go on the power play 17 seconds in.
Pretty sure they're going to get Tyler Fortier for that. As soon as Jaramillo stole that puck, Fortier just reached out and grabbed his jersey. And listen, I concede hockey's not my best sport, but you can't do that. That's against the rules.
Yep.
There are regulations against such an act.
There are, but that was probably a solid enough penalty to take, because in that case, otherwise it was going to be Jaramillo having a breakaway on McGrath, making the infraction just to try to stop him and break up that chance. And indeed, Fortier does that, but he has to sacrifice himself for 2 minutes. And the penalty clock could be starting. That would be nice. They'll have to figure that out later.
I mean, if you're a Blue Knights fan, the fact that the penalty clock has not yet started would seem to be an issue. But, you know, I'm sure they keep it on ice. It's probably fine. It's fine.
Yep.
There it goes. See?
Well, we'll tell you that the penalty will expire at 12:43.
That works. Or at least it's, supposed to.
Yep. They'll probably fix it at the next whistle, but in any case, sometime already off this power play, about 40 seconds gone, and Berkio will move it along to the right side for Colin Hines. Hines on for Paquette. Now to the left point, a shot is blocked. That was Armstrong taking the shot, and getting in the way of that was Nick Fortier. Another chance, goes down in front, and a shot from the slot is turned aside by McGrath. Back to the point, Armstrong, out to the left side for Jaramillo. Jaramillo looking to backhand it along, was probably trying to find Berkio, but instead McGrath will knock it down with the stick and cover for a draw. 13:37 to go in the first.
Dan, you want to know what's great about the professional quality broadcasting of Fitchburg Access Television?
Mm-hmm.
We have microphones all over the Wallace Civic Center, and we can report firsthand exclusive knowledge that they know what's up with the penalty clock, and he's getting out at 12:43. We heard the conversations.
I remember once upon a time there was a playoff game so much time ago in which the penalty clocks didn't start at the beginning of the third period that were carried over from the second. And when they found a stoppage, they spent, I think, 20 minutes arguing over how much penalty time should be left on the clocks.
You'd think that would be an easy fix, too, because it's like, well, it was at this much at the start of the period, so, no?
There's a shot that rings off the post and drops in front of the goal line. It stays out. Alex Armstrong was that close to having his third goal of the season.
Beat McGrath. He wasn't able to beat the Iron. That shot ringed out through the Civic Center, but it didn't find the back of the net.
Yep. Nick Fortier nearly coming away with the steal, but broken up by the couple Red Raiders that were back there. Takes some more time off the power play, only down to 6 seconds. That pass finds a few Blue Knights. Still pinballing around in the skates and finally cleared by Nick Fortier. Down the ice it will go. Minardi will paddle it down. Is coming out of the box is Tyler Fortier. And so taking that penalty works out well enough for the Blue Knights. They broke up that scoring chance and were able to keep the Red Raiders off the board on the power play. Back to full strength we go. 12:35 to go in the first. No score.
You know how we were worried about how maybe Lunenburg might have a guy in the box for too long, Dan?
Yep.
Yeah, he was in there 5 seconds less than he should have been.
Snuck out there, Denary.
Yeah, he did.
Oop. As it goes, Nick Paquette moves it along. Pass off for Jaramillo, just out of his reach. Logan Barton getting his stick on that to knock that away. And now flipped into the zone by Paquette. And it'll be retrieved by Jack Hefferman, freshman defenseman, starting for the Blue Knights. You can see the underclassmen in the starting lineup for LAS. The fact, Owen Hurley, an 8th grader, starting at forward, along with Andrew Nicosia, who's also a freshman, and then the 2 defensemen, a freshman and a sophomore, Nick Fortier, a senior, and Kyle McGrath, a senior as well. So again, you see a lot of youth on this LAS side. 24 players, but 19 players are sophomores or younger.
It's a young, talented side for Lunenburg. Another shot just barely doesn't get in. Once again, McGrath is beaten, but the Iron saves him. This one came off the stick of Begnosh.
Now another shot from the right side by Kucher. Stopped another jam chance there for the Red Raiders. Will be turned aside as well. And another shot stopped by McGrath. Already the first 5 shots of this game favoring Fitchburg Monty Tech. Minardi yet to be tested. And won't be tested there on the icing against LAS. 11:09 to go in the first, no score.
McGrath has really not had a good first period. He's been beaten just straight up. Pad pucks get by him twice, but been saved by the post both times. A couple of juicy rebounds on top of that. Lunenburg very fortunate not to be trailing. I'm sorry, Dan.
Always a challenging job to be guarding that 24 square feet of real estate. But he's done well enough to at least keep them off the board, as Armstrong will go to Brett Mayu. Pass up ice intercepted by Andrew Nicosia. Moving along on the near side. Taken in again by Tyler Broussard. Former football player for Fitchburg High School. One of a couple of football players on this team. As the Blue Knights will move it up ice. And it comes from Nick Fortier on the left wing. Fortier gets tripped up a little bit. I think Mayu's stick got in the way. He goes to the ice and a penalty will be called. Shot through traffic goes just wide. Try to turn around there. Minardi able to get over. Might have hit the side of the net. Excuse me. And that will be the first shot on goal for LAS. And they're going to get their first power play with 10:25 to go in the first period.
It will be Brett Mayu heading to the sin bin. He's not too happy about it as he slams the door. So LAS, they've been saved a couple of times. Now they get a chance to score on their own. First power play of the game for them, as we said.
Faceoff splits the 2 defensemen. You'll have to bring it all the way back into the neutral zone. Tyler Fortier on the near side. Bring it up and in. Fortier moving around to the right wing. Now at the right point, settled by Jake Waldron. Right side, Nick Fortier's shot. That's turned aside. That's Tyler, excuse me. But the save made nonetheless by Easton Minardi. And the puck cleared down ice. Didn't get the official penalty call there. Mayu going for the trip. We all saw it. It's Tyler Fortier moves around, right wing corner, out to the point, looking for Nicosia. Shot offline, and he'll be taken in by Nick Fortier, along for Dom Benner. Benner's got a couple goals on the season, 4 assists as well. Puck trap behind the net, now centered in front. Nick taking it on his backhand, couldn't really settle it down, moves it along. Tyler's shot was blocked. Nicosia moves it along. Benner now out in front, looking for the stick of Nick. He just couldn't settle it. 50 seconds to go on the power play. Puck comes out of the zone. 9:10 to go in the first period and no score. Back in comes Tyler Fortier on the right side. Wyatt Peters trying to pull it away. See the brothers Tyler and Nick moving it along. Right point. And a shot by Nicosia. Turned aside with the pad by Minardi. In the left corner, Benner moves it along, tries to find Nick. Can't get a shot cleanly away, and the Raiders will clear it all the way down on target, and McGrath will stick that down.
Really good defensive work there by Wyatt Peters for Fitchburg Bonnie Tech. Nick Fortier had a very juicy centering pass fall on his forehand, but Peters was able to get his stick in there just enough to disrupt possession, not allow Fortier to take the point-blank shot.
Mayu will come out of the penalty box, and at the right time, I will also add, as the Raiders are back to full strength with 8:20 to go in the first period. No score, shots 5-3. Again, this is going to be the type of game where it's probably going to be a grinding game between these two sides. We may not find too many goals.
That's kind of the game Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley likes to play, Dan. They've got really good defense. They haven't been able to score too many goals, but if they can keep it tight, it only takes one.
Dump down the ice in pursuit, Colin Holbrook for LAS and Wyatt Peters, or one of the other Red Raiders, that's Jacob Pruno. See how well I can read numbers at speed? That's Pruno, 26.
You know what's not fair, speaking about numbers?
Yep.
We've been talking a lot about Tyler Fortier and Nick Fortier, right?
Yep.
Their numbers combined add up to 22.
Yes.
What the heck is that?
Yep.
You can't make them like one's 22 and the other's 18. You can't make one 40 and the other's 41, so he's actually 40er than the other 40? No? It's just 10 and 12? It's nothing. There's no humor there.
Unfortunately, it's kind of challenging to get those numbers. Like, you only get so many numbers to work with in a set of uniforms that has to last you several years.
I mean, I guess.
Although, yes, if you could have found a way to make those numbers add up to 40, then yes, that would have been hilarious in a sense. I was sitting on a joke for years about a player on the old Grafton Valley Tech side. Maybe I'll tell it at some point, as Kucher's shot is turned aside by McGrath. Kucher gets it back in the right wing corner. Kyle Gendron battling with 2 Blue Knights. Kucher trying to step up, get a hold of that puck, but it'll be taken away by Antonio Romano. Junior forward will throw it in on goal. Minardi will turn it aside into the left wing corner. And in the left wing corner, LAS pulls it out, tries to get it to the left circle, finds Austin Haas instead. They'll send it out of the zone and out of danger. 6:37 to go in the first period, and no score, shot 6-4 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech, as Berkio will pick up that puck. Top line out there for Fitchburg Monty Tech, trying to see if they can win the matchup there. As Berkio throws that back around towards goal, and McGrath, one of the captains of this LAS team, will paddle that away into the corner. Jaramillo on the right side. Berkio got a little bit on it, just not as much wood as he wanted. Another shot from the left wing. That one gloved by McGrath as well, and he'll hold. 6:06 to go, first period. Fitchburg Monty Tech nothing, LAS nothing.
Dan, I demand, the rules of humor, in fact, demand that you tell that joke in the third period, because as we all know, if you introduce a bit of wordplay in the first act, you have to pay it off in the third. That is Chekhov's pun.
Make a note of that somewhere. Make sure you remind me that I'll make that joke in the third period.
That was the funniest thing I've ever said on television, and it got no reaction. I'm so mad.
Great shots, 2 great chances, and both turned aside by Minardi. Both at point-blank range, just shot it right into his pads. Now to the left point. Tyler Fortier's shot. Through some traffic, comes all the way to the boards. He flipped up into the air. Fortier, that's Tyler, will knock it along around to the right wing corner. Hines will wait for it, try to move it along. Nicosia got in the way. Now the Red Raiders will try to pull it up ice, and here's Jaramillo on the right wing. Now on for Hines. Hines into the corner. Taken by LAS and moved along. Nicosia gaining the red line and dumping it in. And around to the right wing corner. Peters sticked along off of Hines' blade. With the pressure there, Dom Benner. Now on the right side, Hines getting it back. Turned around to the near side, Berkio as it go off his blade. It'll make its way behind the goal line. With Berkio's touch, there'll be no icing as Kyle Waldron will move it along D to D with Sean McGrath. Now up ice, Benner on the near side, trying to make the rush up to the left circle. Benner backhands it, goes behind the net. Cole Howard will be the first to touch it after that. They knock it out of the zone. Comes to the near side, taken by Tyler Broussard. Broussard's shot is gobbled up by McGrath, and they'll jump on that and cover for a draw. 4:13 to go in the first, no score.
While we have a moment, we want to thank Travis Falk for providing the camera and audio work for us today. Travis does a tremendous job on just about everything he touches, which is good because he touches just about everything here at FATV. I'm pretty sure there isn't a process we do that Travis doesn't know how to do. Maybe accounting. Is Travis our accountant? Travis should not be our accountant.
He's not our accountant.
Oh, good.
So there's another chance out in front. The one-timer ends up going over the net, and we have a whistle.
I'm not saying he'd be bad at it, but I'm also saying he shouldn't be our accountant. That opens up, embezzling opportunities that I frankly don't feel comfortable with. I'm going to operate under the assumption that Travis Falk is not our accountant, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not, but
okay.
He does so
Wait,
many
if Travis
things.
is our accountant, would that explain why I've never received a paycheck?
I think there are other problems with that.
No. Okay.
Draw one by the Red Raiders, but now whipped on there by Mayu. And now taken by Romano. Romano into the zone. Gets a good shot off, and Minardi is able to batten down the hatches quickly enough. Won't let that slip under his pads. Shots 9-6 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech with 3:49 to go in first.
Antonio Romano had Eddie Julius right there. Julius wanted the puck. There was nobody in front of him, but Romano decided to take the shot himself. Minardi was able to stand up to the challenge, make the save, and hold on, draw the faceoff.
Draw one by LAS. Shot from Tyler Fortier blocked. The player down the ice. And here's Hunter Kucher. Kucher from the right wing. Will pass it along off the boards to Gendron. Gendron going to the left point. Peters keeps it along. One-timer by Gendron now is whiffed on a little bit. Makes its way into the right wing corner. Players getting tangled up, and now Nicosia will move it along for Nick Fortier. Fortier knocked into the boards by Cam Begnosh. Played on the Monty Tech football team this past season. First year varsity player for the Red Raiders.
He looked like a linebacker delivering that hit, so I believe it.
I believe that's the position he played too. He had a number in the 50s, I'm pretty sure. Thrown out into the slot looking for Nicosia, but a Red Raider stick will deflect that away, that coming from Gendron. Moved along, trying to find Kucher. Just out of his reach, and it will go for the icing. No touch icing used in MIAA ice hockey. Although I think in that case, the Blue Knights had that race won anyway. Draw's going to come all the way down to one side of Minardi with 2:52 to go in the first.
It's a good rule, no touch icing.
I'm more of a hybrid icing fan, but I understand the usage of no touch when you're playing at a lower level like this. That's why they go to the hybrid when you get up to the college ranks. Another stretch pass, and so many of those passes, we've seen them play that off the near side boards, and it seems like every time it's just a little bit out of the reach. Just not quite playing the angles right. But Berkio's got it for the Red Raiders, moves it along to the left side. Peters will step up and knock it along. Tries to find Berkio, but ends up popping over his stick. To the right wing corner. Raiders trying to get on that, and Benner getting tangled up with one of the Red Raiders. It's coming to the near side. This is Mitchell Boulay, a freshman forward. Trying to move it along, didn't have much for reinforcements. Split out of the zone, players tumbling at the FMT blue line. And the Red Raiders regain the zone. Berkio out to Hines, shoots, scores! Colin Hines on the one-timer. The top line strikes again for the Red Raiders. 2:01 to go in the first. They have the first strike.
We talked about it at the top of the broadcast, Dan, that line. Berkio, Hines, Sam Jaramillo as well. Jaramillo was right in there. This time it was Berkio and Hines working together, getting that puck in. It was a tremendous goal for Fitchburg Monty Tech and a well-deserved 1-0 lead with just over 2 minutes to play here in the first.
I figure that all three of them will factor into scoring for that one. And for Hines, a team-leading 10th goal of the season, as that shot directly in on Easton Menardi. And he'll hold for a draw.
Romano tried to catch Menardi sleeping right after the puck, right after the goal. Does the old adage from soccer apply to hockey that a team is at its most vulnerable right after they score?
It's an idea.
Okay.
If you'd scored on that, it would have been 2 goals in 6 seconds just for opposite teams as opposed to what we saw on Monday nights. Right wing corner in the FMT zone, and a delayed call coming against Fitchburg Monty Tech. The touch-up comes there as McGrath makes his way to the bench, and now we'll get the penalty. And the Blue Knights scheduled to be on the power play for the rest of the period, as the goal scorer Hines is going to sit.
It's been an eventful couple of minutes for Mr. Hines. Score a goal, gets him to go sit and think about it for a while.
LAS 0 for 1 on the power play. They'll have their second chance. With Hines in the bin.
Waiver penalty, number 20, Colin Hines. 2 minus elbowing, time of the penalty.
Another redirection, they score! The shot taken from the right point, think it was tipped. Nick Fortier got the tip.
Dan, I'm pretty sure it was shot by Tyler Fortier and then deflected by Nick.
And leading the handshake line is Nicosia. They've all gotten involved in that one, but that was going to be a challenging shot. A rising shot that got tipped straight to the ice. And catching out Menardi there. That power play didn't take very long. Just 8 seconds comes off the clock as LAS has tied it.
Lightning quick on the power play.
Colin Hines, assisted by number 18, Cody Berkio, and number 22, Sam Gemarillo. Time of that goal was 12:59. Knight's goal was by number 9, Andrew Nicosia, assisted by number 10, Tyler Fortier. Time of that power play goal, 13:25, first period.
So it goes to Nicosia after all.
Last minute of play.
And Nick doesn't actually get involved in the scoring in that one at all. But at times, our eyes deceive us.
At times.
Shots now 10 apiece, and the goals now 1 apiece in the final minute of the first period in a 1-1 hockey game. Thrown in and turned aside by McGrath. And holding in the left wing corner, Colin Holbrook moves it along off the stick of Nick Fortier. And now dumped in Alex Armstrong. We'll get a hold of that one. On the right side, you can see Dom Benner getting tangled up with a couple of Red Raiders. Moved along to the near side. And held up there, Tyler Fortier can't get a shot cleanly away. LAS appealing for a penalty on some illegal stick work, but they'll let it go. One more shot from the right point, stopped by Menardi, and before LAS can get another chance, the buzzer will sound to bring an end to the first period of play. The goals came late, and they were separated by just 26 seconds, but each team has a goal on the board through 15 minutes of play. It's Fitchburg Monty Tech 1 and Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley 1.
Was an eventful 26-second stretch as well, Dan. Colin Hines scores his goal assisted by Berkio and Jaramillo. Then just 6 seconds later, I think it was 8 seconds actually, Hines was in the penalty box. Barely a moment after that, Andrew Nicosia found the back of the net off a deflection from from Tyler Fortier. We're getting our Fortiers crossed up.
Fortier had the shot and Nicosia had the redirection, is what they're saying.
Yeah, Fortier took the shot from just outside the point. Nicosia got a stick on it. It was almost a high stick. It was a very elevated stick. It was not high because that's like a term of art. It was an elevated stick that Nicosia used to deflect that puck straight down into the back of the net. basically nothing Minardi could do about it.
Yeah, those redirections are always very challenging, especially when you're already setting up for a shot that you know is coming up high, and then at the last second it's coming down low. Your body may not be quite positioned for that.
Yeah, it's basically just like your reaction time has to be either absolutely perfect or you just have to get lucky and it hits you. And Minardi did not get lucky. Instead, it hit the twine at the back of the net, tying the game up. And honestly, from my perspective, Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley should be breathing a sigh of relief to be going into the locker rooms even at 1, because shots on goal may be 10 apiece. That did not feel like a very even first period.
It definitely looked like the better chances came from Fitchburg Monty Tech, and we can't discount the fact that FMT had a couple of posts too earlier on in that first period.
That's right. First couple of shots of the game, Kyle McGrath, there were less than 2 minutes in, Fitchburg Monty Tech had 5 shots, 2 of which had already beaten McGrath, but the iron saved him. So they go down as no goals.
And I can tell you, with how these two goalies played in that first period, I don't think either goalie should be hanging their head on the goals they conceded. Those were both going to be challenging shots to stop, especially McGrath's was on a cross-ice one-timer, and Colin Hines was right on the doorstep for his 10th goal of the year. But as noted, just 26 seconds later, Andrew DeCosia got his 3rd goal of the year, the freshman forward on the redirection from Tyler Fortier. And Fortier's team leading 11th point of the campaign makes it a 1-1 hockey game through 15 minutes of play.
We were talking about how there might not be that many goals. We've already seen 2. Maybe there will be more to come. Stick with us, folks. It's Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, it's Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined, of course, by Dan Bullock. We have a 1-1 game here. The Blue Knights of Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley are tied with the Red Raiders of Fitchburg Monty Tech. It was a pretty eventful first period, all things considered, Dan.
20 shots between the two teams. We saw a couple of posts as well. But at the end of the day, the scoring came late in the frame. Colin Hines depositing a one-time pass from Cody Berkio, Sammy Jaramillo getting assist on that one. Jaramillo's got blackjack for points this year, 21. And with that assist, his 16th in the campaign, Hines' 10th goal gave the Red Raiders a 1-0 lead, but then Hines went to the box 18 seconds later for an elbow, and he only sat in the bin for 8 seconds, because that's all it took for LAS to get the tying goal. Andrew DeCosia, the freshman forward, with his 3rd strike of the campaign, redirecting a shot from Tyler Fortier at the point, and Fortier's team leading 9th assist. Got that game tied.
He certainly didn't intend for it to be an assist, but hey, he shot the puck, it wound up in the back of the net. He's got to be happy about that.
They'll take the end result any way it goes. And so 1-1 the score through 15 minutes of play. And we've seen LAS grinding it out. They have a very young roster, and the record might not be as good as they would like it to be, but they've been in a lot of these games, and they are very much a challenge for whoever plays them.
We talked about LAS having been shut out in 3 of their last 4 games on this 4-game losing skid. They will not be shut out tonight, and hey, still a chance for them to break this streak altogether.
Just looking at the schedule for LAS and who they played this year, started the season by playing another set of Red Raiders, those being of Lowell. Won that game 5-1. That was their biggest explosion of offense this year against a Lowell side that's 3-8 in Division II. Then they took on Danvers, a set of Falcons, if you will. That game ended up in a 1-1 tie. A solid Division III team they played, then Littleton Bromfield. They played Littleton Bromfield twice, both times losing by identical 3-0 scorelines. Beat St. Bernard's 4-2. That's one of St. Bee's 3 losses. Fitchburg Monty Tech gave them another one. St. Bernard's has actually won 7 games in a row right now. So they're on quite the streak themselves.
We'll see St. Bernard's next Saturday here on FATV. Hockey Day in the Berg, a triple header coming to FATV. We'll tell you a little bit more about that when and as we can. But it looks, Dan, like we are just about ready for period number 2.
I also know that St. Bernard's played either St. Joseph Prep today or earlier today, a team that they already dispatched by 11 goals, so wonder how that game went.
It probably went similarly. Second period is underway. Puck fought for along the near side boards, controlled by Jaramillo. He sends it forward to Berkio. Berkio's shot is deflected, goes wide of the net. Jaramillo will chase. Comes back for Peters. Peters sends it over for Begnosh. Now back behind the net, Jaramillo's got it. Doesn't leave it for Berkio, he'll take it himself. Now sends it to Cam Begnash. Begnash's shot deflected, goes wide, almost went in off the stick of Nicosia again. Would have been much worse for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley if it happened a second time. Blue Knights managed to clear the zone. Nicosia didn't know quite where the puck was. Fitchburg Monty Tech winds up with it. Send forward for Jaramillo. Jaramillo can't find the handle. Now he's got it, he'll retreat. Sends it forward for Berkio. Berkio advances, drops it off to, well, frankly, nobody in particular. Nick Fortier picks it up, and he will dump and clear. Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley will change. Grabbed by Peters. Sends it forward. Berkio wanted it, then thought better of it. He'll head for the bench, and icing will be called against the Fitchburg Monty Tech.
Bring the draw to one side of Easton Minardi. Note that in high school ice hockey, you can still change lines after an icing.
And the Red Raiders will do just that. It is 5 fresh skaters on the ice for the team in white. Nick Paquette wins the faceoff. Steered back behind the net by Alex Armstrong. Gathered there by Kucher. He sends it clear. Grabbed by Jack Heffernan. He dumps it right back into the Fitchburg Monty Tech zone. Armstrong back for Kucher again. Kucher tries to clear, can't do it. Pass was intercepted by Boulay. Still loose. Finally cleared by Kyle Gendron. Picked up right again by Mitchell Boulay, however. Boulay sends it forward for Logan Martin. He loses the handle. And Fitchburg Monty Tech will clear once again. Heffernan's got it. Sends it to the far side boards. Advanced ahead to Dom Benner. Benner with a bit of nifty stick work. Backhand opportunity, his shot goes wide. Didn't really trouble Minardi, looked like it might have. Benner's got another chance, and he loses the handle. Along the near side boards now for Kucher. He'll send it cross ice to Gendron. Gendron delivers a big hit to Tyler Fortier. Gets the puck back. Paquette didn't know where it was. Chance for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley now. Romano takes it back behind the net. He's got 2-3 Red Raiders on him, but Romano's still got the puck. Centering pass, shot, good save made by Easton Minardi. Eddie Julius couldn't quite get the shot off on the first touch, so he gave Minardi the opportunity to get into position, tried to go 5-hole, couldn't get through. Faceoff comes to the right side of the Fitchburg netminder with 12:12 to play.
Minardi's just able to get down quickly enough and be ready for that one. And in the game on Monday against Gardner for Fitchburg Monty Tech, those two sides really struggled to get their sea legs in the second period. It was a period full of missed passes. Only event of note was a penalty. But other than that, both teams just really struggled to get anything going in that frame, and I'm wondering if we'll see a little more of the same here.
Top line back on the ice for Fitchburg. One-time shot is deflected. Was a great opportunity for Colin Hines, but it never got through on net. I think you can credit Maximos Kadas with the defensive effort there for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley.
I think I had Nick Fortier on that one, but he got in the way of that shot, and that was good on him to get in the way of that, because that had a beeline for a lot of empty space in the net.
Jaramillo's shot is deflected, goes wide. Save made by McGrath. Comes to Wyatt Peters. He sends it back behind the net. Jaramillo will chase. Sends it out to the blue line for Begnash. Begnash sends it right back in. Berkio's got it. Berkio battling with Fortier. Centering pass. Steered wide by McGrath. Jaramillo winds up with it. Dekes a couple of Blue Knights. Spins back. His centering pass pushed off the puck. Great defensive work there, stopping Hines from getting the opportunity. Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley will just fire it down the ice, and we get icing.
That's one of those strategies, again, that you can use in high school. That seemed like very much a, we need fresh legs, just dump it down the lane.
Yep. Bomb. Get rid of the bomb. The puck is the bomb. Faceoff comes to the right side of Kyle McGrath. Sent along the far side boards now, battled for by Fortier. He leaves it forward the other Fortier. Andrew Nicosia gains the blue line, loses it immediately. Sent back out to neutral ice, dumped in by Holbrook. Gathered there for Fitchburg Monty Tech by Alex Armstrong. He sends it along the far side boards, and we get a whistle. Play stops with 10:24 to play. Puck go out of play, Dan?
Might have been a hand pass. Now one of our referees coming over and explaining to the LAS coaching staff what went on there.
It's going to result in a face-off to the left side of Kyle McGrath. Won by LAS, but the puck goes behind the Blue Knight net. Hurley clears it out. Sent right back in by Fitchburg Monty Tech. Gathered there by Tyler Fortier. Fortier gains the FMT blue line, drops it off for Hurley. Hurley can't keep it in. Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley rather has to tag up and change. Gives the Red Raiders a chance. Breakaway opportunity here. Shot save made by McGrath. Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley now with a chance to answer. Tyler Fortier, he's got Nicosia with him. 2-on-3. Fortier loses the handle, it goes back behind the FMT net. Sent along the far side boards, not able to keep it in was Colin Holbrook. Chance now for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Jaramillo loses the handle, but wide open shot goes wide. Jaramillo gathers, tries to go backhand. This is going to be a penalty against Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. Jaramillo got cross-checked. Fitchburg Monty Tech still has the opportunity. Alex Armstrong shot save made. Still loose in front of the net. Finally, Fitchburg Monty Tech gets the extra skater on the ice. Berkio's got it now. Finally, we're going to get a Blue Knight to touch it. Felt like that referee had his hand in the air for 2 minutes.
A whole lot of things happening there. There's one point where one of the Blue Knights who fouled, I believe, Bruno to try to stop him from getting a chance there, that being Tyler Fortier. One point was down on his rear end, I think, had his stick out trying to touch the puck, say, I've got possession, and the referee's like, nah, that's not possession. You're on your rear end, I'm not giving you that. And so that gave a couple more chances to the Red Raiders. Ultimately, McGrath able to stand tall and turn that aside. There looked like one that he was late to react to just because he was expecting the whistle that never came.
It is Tyler Fortier serving 2 minutes in the penalty box. Chance for Fitchburg Monty Tech, shot by Jaramillo, save made by McGrath. Just snatched that one out of the air.
Knight's penalty number 10, Tyler Fortier. 2-minute minor for cross-checking. Time of the penalty, 5:54, second period.
They do indeed call cross-checking on Tyler Fortier. Back to live action now, Jaramillo. Sends it across to Armstrong. Back to Jaramillo. Cross-ice shot, save made by McGrath. Waldron gives chase for LAS, but it's gathered by Fitchburg. Nick Paquette. Shot by Armstrong, blocked. Jaramillo can't keep it in, LAS will clear. Chance for Nick Fortier now. Can't quite get the shot, it's a little too long for him, but it's at least killing time. 1:15 to play here on the power play. Nick Fortier fighting two Red Raiders all by himself. You have to do that when you're shorthanded after all. Waldron keeps it in, he actually flicks it a little too high. It'll go up into the netting and we get a stoppage with 8:11 to play here in period number 2.
Looks like they'll say that perhaps one off of a Red Raider, so they're going to bring the face-off to the right side of Eastern Minardi, and that I think works to LAS's benefit because it gives them, offensive zone face-off and a chance to really, if they win the face-off, wind some more time off this power play. Minute 5 left on it.
Draw was initially won by the Red Raiders, but eventually controlled by Nick Fortier. It's been a one-man band at times on this penalty kill. Just dumps it in, nobody in particular there to grab it. Wyatt Peters grabs it for Fitchburg Monty Tech. He leaves it for Jaramillo. Jaramillo will gain his own blue line, then the red, then the LAS blue. Jaramillo, a one-man band of his own right, takes it back along the far side boards. He's got two teammates to go with. He leaves it for Peters. Peters' shot save made by McGrath. Looked for a second like that might take a deflection, but it went straight into the LAS netminder, and Kyle McGrath was equal to the challenge. Makes the save and hangs on with 32 seconds left on the man advantage for the Red Raiders.
McGrath watching that puck coming all the way, then moving his glove hand on the left, downwards, rotating it to get in position to gobble that one up for the draw.
Cody Berkio's shot steered wide. Battled for along the near side boards, comes out to Jaramillo. From the edge of the circle, he sends it to Peters. Peters wants to get back to Jaramillo, but Nick Fortier's there to break it up. Peters has to give chase. Single-digit seconds left on the power play. Jaramillo's got one more chance to take advantage of the man advantage. Leaves it for Berkio. Back to Jaramillo. We're back to even strength. Jaramillo sends to Peters. Peters' shot goes wide around the net. Now a chance for LAS on the breakaway. This is Nick Fortier straight out of the penalty box. He's got fresh legs. Excuse me, that's Tyler Fortier. Sent back to Fortier at the far corner. Tyler will take it behind the Fitchburg Monty-Tech net. Sends it to Heffernan. Heffernan's shot is blocked by Berkio, and it bounces such that Berkio has a chance for a breakaway. No icing. Berkio will gather, try a centering pass, basically whiffed on it. Puck's loose back in the left side corner. Gathered there by LAS. They'll clear the blue line, but right onto the stick of Alex Armstrong, and we get a whistle. I think they're going to send Jaramillo to the box. Is that cross-checking indicated, Dan?
Yeah, I would think so. Wasn't certain on the penalty, it being a penalty, but that gesture implies cross-checking to me.
So Lunenburg
Ayer-Shirley on the power play, so yeah, they'll have another chance here.
They just killed a penalty of their own. Now they get a power play. Chance for the Blue Knights to really take this game by the horns as we're more than halfway through the second period. 6:20 to go here in period number 2. Shots are 16-11 in favor of the Red Raiders. I believe that means 5-0 in this period. Is that right?
6-1.
Shot from the Blue Knights goes wide, cleared all the way down. Roughing is the call against Jaramillo. Shot save made by Minardi. Nick Paquette fights for it. He'll take it behind his own net. Successfully clears the zone. It'll go all the way down, played by McGrath. He'll leave it off for Jack Heffernan. Heffernan pressured by Kuchar. Gets it to Tyler Fortier. Tyler Fortier has to send it to his own goaltender. We'll get a face-off in the Red Raider offensive zone.
Yeah, only a couple of shots they've really had on Minardi in this period, and FMT has done pretty well to limit the chances. Already one shot in this power play for LAS, but now you see, gloves on the other foot. That makes no sense, but you see the face-off is on the other end compared to, LAS was able to get an offensive zone draw on their kill. Fitchburg Monty-Tech now able to do the same.
Nick Fortier gains the red line, then the blue. Pressured by a couple of Red Raiders. He'll drop it back for his brother Tyler. Shot deflected. Very reminiscent of the LAS goal. This time not quite able to steer it in was Dom Benner.
As you said, that was pretty much exactly like the first goal, or at least the goal for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. The deflection downwards this time, though, it didn't go on target.
35 seconds left to play in the power play. Dom Benner takes a shot. Kick save made. And it comes along the near side, cleared out by Fitchburg Monty-Tech. Dumped all the way down. A couple of guys chased, steered behind the net for McGrath. Sean McGrath leaves it off for Tyler Fortier. Fortier with 15 seconds on the man advantage. Takes it up across center ice into the offensive zone. His shot, save made by Easton Minardi. Nothing fancy about that, just a slap shot right down the pike. Minardi was able to close up, make the save.
It's right in between his knees. The way that you see a goalie go down there and hold his position, it's one of those cases where the goalie's thinking, I think I've got it. I haven't heard anybody say it's in, so I must have it somewhere. I don't know where it is. I don't want to move.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I trust that I have it. Don't ask me where it is.
Because the concern is you move and you move in the wrong way, you might accidentally knock it back into your own net, and you don't want to risk that.
Jaramillo hops out of the box, goes straight to the bench. We're back to even strength with just about 4 minutes to play here in the second period of a 1-1 game. Loose puck controlled by the Red Raiders, but they're outside the zone, so they've got to tag up, wind up dumping it in. Pursued there by Waldron. He sends it along the near side boards. Kept in, no, finally poked out. Back at center ice. Kicked onto his own skate. Shot is deflected and goes wide. Chased down there by Waldron. They'll send it back for Cadiz. Maximos Cadiz battling with Jacob Pruno. Pruno winds up with the better of that exchange. His shot save made by McGrath. Pruno centering pass deflected by a Blue Knight. Winds up on the stick of Austin Sutton. Sutton's got a breakaway chance. His pass is a good one, but unable to be handled by Antonio Romano. Romano could have gotten a shot off there, wasn't able to capitalize. 3:10 to play in the period as they fight in the back right corner. Finally steered clear by Pruno. He just bats it down the ice, and that'll be an icing. Stop the clock with 3:01 left in the period.
Saw a pretty good shift there from Pruno to how he was able to outmuscle the senior in Katus and able to get a shot away. He still looked like Katus was still heavily contesting the possession.
It was by no means a clear shot, but it was a good job by Pruno to go from I am checking the man with the puck to I am taking a shot with basically no help from anyone else. Shot goes high over the right-hand corner. Just barely cleared out by Hines, and he took a big hit for his trouble. But now it's in the offensive zone. Hines loses the handle. Loose puck in front of the net. Shot save made by McGrath. Rebound popped free for a moment, but he was able to cover up. I believe that shot came off the stick of Kyle Gendron.
Jaramillo, who actually picked that up in the slot after Hines was unable to settle his pass, but it landed fortuitously in the slot for Jaramillo to shoot right on.
Jaramillo wins the faceoff, gets a shot save made by McGrath again. McGrath's had to do a lot of work to keep this game even, but he's been up to the task thus far. Jaramillo grabs it in the Fitchburg end, uses the boards as a teammate, tries to dance around 3 Blue Knights, can't quite do that, but it comes back to Peters. He's got to hold it as Jaramillo is deep in the zone, has to tag up. Now Peters can gain the line. Wyatt Peters loses the handle, cleared out by the Blue Knights. Sent all the way down, and will we get an icing here? Yes. Exactly 1 minute of play has gone by. 2:01 to go here in period number 2. Shots on goal now 18-14 in favor of the Red Raiders. Faceoff will come to the left side of Kyle McGrath. Won by the Blue Knights, gathered by Tyler Fortier. He sends it along the near side boards for Logan Martin. Martin wanted to find Ethan Dion, couldn't quite do it. Loose puck at center ice. It's finally grabbed by Martin. He'll take it into the Fitchburg zone. Can't quite get around Nick Paquette. But Paquette can't hold it either. Benner had it for a moment. Comes back to him. Gendron gets a wallop. Puck squirts along to the far side. Tyler Fortier takes a shot and a save made by Easton Minardi. It was just a big old left-handed slap shot from deep in the zone. Minardi was able to hang on.
Able to trap that there against his right shoulder using his glove to hold that firm. Didn't want to give up a rebound in that situation. Indeed, he didn't.
Jaramillo sticks it ahead for Hines. Hines wanted to drop back to Jaramillo, but he wasn't there, so he'll keep it himself. There's 57 different ways for Hines to get rid of the puck. He finally chooses Jaramillo. Jaramillo's shot beats McGrath, but it doesn't beat the net. It just went wide. I think maybe he got his right leg on that one. Dom Benner with it now as we duck under 55 seconds to play in period number 2. Benner skating through a number of Red Raiders, finally gets it poked away from him. Jaramillo takes it into the offensive zone. Jaramillo ahead, shot save made by McGrath. Not much on that one. McGrath was able to steer it away fairly easily with the left blocker. This is Alex Armstrong. His shot is deflected, goes all the way out of the offensive zone. Under 30 seconds to play, Fitchburg Monty Tech will dump it in. McGrath will just leave it off. Chance for the Blue Knights now if they hurry. 20 seconds in the period. Nicosia can't quite handle it. Jaramillo can't keep it in. Loose puck at center ice. Jaramillo pokes it back into the offensive zone. 10 seconds left now. If anyone's going to score, it's going to be Fitchburg Monty Tech, but I don't think they're going to. Loose puck behind the net. They're going to battle for it in the corner. And that will be the end of the second period. A lot of action, a lot of chances, but no goals, Dan.
However, Fitchburg Monty Tech's going to start the third period with a power play. There was a penalty in the last few seconds of the frame. We'll skate it over there now. We'll see who at least it's going to be against. It's going to be Tyler Fortier for the third time. He's actually committed all 3 of the penalties.
At least they're going to let him go to the locker room, though, right? He's not going to have to sit in the penalty box for the entire intermission. That would be excessive.
Of course not. They're not going to make him do that. But, yeah, the Red Raiders are going to start the period on the man advantage, so that will be the thing there. So shots in that period were 10-5 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech, and again, it looked like the Red Raiders had the better chances. Minardi, though, who was ready for the few shots that he did face, and he looked solid with his rebound control as well.
Really good goaltending work by both men, Easton Minardi and Kyle McGrath. Both acquitted themselves very well in that second period, I thought.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Kyle McGrath's play in that second period. Stopped all 10 shots he faced, and there weren't a whole lot of routine shots. He was really well to the challenge, and it looks like he's got a lot of comfort with his glove hand as well, and how he's been able to move it and then distribute the puck a couple of times out of it as well.
Goaltending has been a major strength for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley this season. We've seen it on display tonight. 19 saves for Kyle McGrath, but his team is not winning. Can Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley find a goal? For that matter, can Fitchburg Monty Tech find another goal? We've still got 1 period of play here from the Wallace Civic Center. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV. We are back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. 1-1 is the score here on Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV. Fitchburg Monty Tech's Red Raiders battling the Blue Knights of Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. As we said, it is a goal apiece after a scoreless second period. But Dan, it was not an uneventful one.
A lot of great chances, but really it came down to great goaltending, I think, for especially more for LAS and Kyle McGrath. Stopped 10 shots in that frame. And some pretty solid ones where he's just in good position, tracking the puck, doing what a senior captain should be doing in playing in goal. And he played very solidly. Another good period for LAS. And now you can see LAS is going to take the ice now. Fitchburg Monty Tech is nowhere to be seen at the moment.
Yeah, the Blue Knights were standing at the door for a long time. Here come the Red Raiders out of their locker rooms now.
Yeah, the standard procedure is that the home team should take the ice first in these circumstances, but Fitchburg Monty Tech just took a little longer. So now that all of the Blue Knights are on the ice, now we'll see the Red Raiders out there shortly. Of note, Fitchburg Monty Tech will be starting the third period on the power play. Tyler Fortier got called for roughing at the tail end of the frame. That's the 3rd minor penalty he has taken tonight. And as the current MIAA rulebook mandates, as the handbook will state, if he commits another penalty in this contest, he will take no further part in it.
It's a long time to go without committing any penalties, especially if you've done 3 in the first 2 periods. But Tyler Fortier will begin what's the word I'm looking for? He will begin, there you go. That's a very difficult word, begin. He will begin the third period in the discipline dungeon.
Dave Ford, the sophomore defenseman, does wear one of the captain's patches. Yeah, the roster that I had only gave Nick Fortier a captain's patch, but a couple other ones have picked up ones along the way, McGrath and the younger Fortier as well. Red Raiders have 4 captains themselves: Tyler Broussard, Cole Howard, Wyatt Peters, and Sam Jaramillo.
Jaramillo was all over the ice in that second period for Fitchburg Monty Tech. It felt like whenever he was on the ice, more often than not, he had the puck.
And he's one of those dynamic playmakers, 3-year player for the Red Raiders. And ever since the pandemic season as a freshman, he made it clear as one of those members of the class of 2024 that he was going to be one of the big contributors to this team on offense. And he'll be out there on the power play. Nick Paquette will take the draw against the goal scorer for LAS, Andrew DeCosia. And we are underway here in the third. Fitchburg Monty Tech in the home whites going left to right. LAS in the road, dark blues going from right to left. You have that maroon trim there on the LAS jerseys to signify the connection to Ayer-Shirley.
It's an interesting color combination, dark blue and maroon, but it works.
Yep, the maroon in silver, the colors of Ayer-Shirley, the blue and the white, the colors of Lunenburg High School. As Alex Armstrong gets at the point on the left side. Now Jaramillo, top of the left circle, across for Hines. Hines takes the time, gets the shot off, and a kick save by McGrath. One of the juicier rebounds he's given up tonight, but it goes right to a Blue Knight. Doesn't get it out of the zone. Armstrong whiffs on the initial pass. It stays in, though. So they'll keep it going. Jaramillo with the shot, and that's stopped by McGrath. Got that with the glove with 55 seconds gone in the third period.
You know, I can't help but notice that there's absolutely no purple on the Fitchburg Monty Tech jerseys.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Yep. It's like just the Monty Tech in the circle logo. That's really the only representation of Monty Tech, as Paquette's redirected shot ends up going behind the net.
Well, that and 97% of the kids on the roster.
Yeah, a very large chunk this year. It's another shot, another glove save by McGrath. Just the way he flashes the leather, he makes it look easy.
Don't mind me, I'm just an interloper from Marlboro come to stir up drama in Fitchburg. It's my thing.
I did talk about it a little bit on Monday. Yes, it's a very heavy Monty Tech presence on the team this year. Just 3 players in the varsity roster right now from the Fitchburg Public School system. As Hines with a shot, that's stopped, and McGrath's lost his helmet. They've got to stop play, and now they will, as McGrath shrugs his shoulders saying, why are you not stopping play? This is dangerous, you know?
It is dangerous. He's got so much hair, though. It's hard to identify it as not a helmet immediately.
He's got the flow.
I remember when I had hair that long.
My hair is that long right now.
Yeah, but most of it's on your chin.
And this ponytail that's hiding under my hat.
Okay, that's fair. You have a point.
Pandemic haircuts. Haven't gotten it cut in too long. But I'm lazy. Draw will come to the right of McGrath, 13:36 to go, third period, and 36 seconds to go on the power play, of course. As Sam Jaramillo move it around to the right wing corner. And along he goes. Drops it for Armstrong. On the left side, Jaramillo. And still moving it along. Back to Armstrong. Shot from the point, saved by McGrath. Loose in front. Paquette trying to get on. Sweeps it towards goal, but just off to the side. And now another shot. That hits the side of net. Maybe got a piece of McGrath. They'll put that shot on the board. Already 6 shots in this period for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Penalty about to expire to Tyler Fortier. He's out of the box. And the Blue Knights back to full strength. And now Paquette immediately harassed by Tyler. As the pass for Hines cut down in front. Nicosia moving it along for Tyler Fortier. Hines gets his stick in the way, but Tyler will take it anyway. He'll get the shot, and he will score! Beautifully sniped by Tyler Fortier, making up for all the penalties. 16 seconds after he's released from the bid, he's given his side a 2-1 lead.
Looked like he just went to the top left corner, Dan. Minardi just couldn't get his right arm up to block it. Was a heck of a little wrist shot.
He picked his spot and he nailed it. The sophomore defenseman, Tyler Fortier's 3rd goal of the season, has given his side a lead. Here's Mitchell Boulay into the zone, his shot blocked. And after the Red Raiders had the first 6 shots in the frame, the first shot on target for LAS, the first chance they had in the frame, finds the back of the net. Benner will toss it along the boards, picked up in the FMT end, trying to clear it out and kept in. It's Benner again stepping up in the left circle. 2 Red Raiders, a third getting their sticks in the way.
Number 10, Tyler Fortier. Assist to number 9, Andrew Nicosia. Time to go 2:16, third period.
Nicosia award an assist, so a goal and an assist for both Nicosia and Fortier tonight. A delayed call, I think, coming against Fitchburg Monty Tech, which won't make things easier.
Goes from bad to worse for the Red Raiders.
Or was that an icing?
Well, a face-off in the defensive end is still worse.
It's still worse.
It's not as much worse.
The delayed call was the icing. 2 referees, neither have the orange armbands because they're both of equal stature. Ryan Marchione and Mike Weir, the referees tonight, making the calls.
Sorry, did you say Mark Meir?
Mike Weir,
Oh,
Ryan
okay.
Marchione.
I might or might not have Mass Effect on the brain.
So 11:35 to go in the third period. 2-1 LAS in front. Fitchburg Monty Tech looking to try to bounce back. They've got the top line out. As the pass along, knocked down and taken by Jaramillo. Trying to find Hines. Getting in the way is Owen Hurley. Eighth grader pushes it up for Nick Fortier. Fortier into the zone on the left side. Lost a handle, got it back on the half boards. Now along, trying to find Nicosia again. As the puck migrates out to the far side.
Wyatt Peters is playing without his right glove at the moment. He has to go and retrieve it.
Lost in the shuffle, but he will re-equip the glove and go in pursuit of that puck, but Hurley gets there first for LAS. Back in the Red Raider end. Jaramillo trying to protect against Maximos Katas. On the near side, Berkio nudges it along and out of the zone. Jaramillo skating up ice, trying to hit Hines. Now trying to find Jaramillo again, just loose puck players trying to get on top of that. But LAS getting their sticks in there and really bothering the Red Raiders. Not able to do a whole lot with it as Romano gains the zone, throws it on goal, and that's turned aside by Minardi. Into the left wing corner, Romano and Katas trying to dig it out for LAS. And now Colin Hines, 1-on-2, will have a go. 10 goals this year for Hines. His shot is deflected into the netting and out of play. 10 minutes exactly to go in the third period of play. It's Fitchburg Monty Tech 1 and Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley 2.
Fitchburg Monty Tech had a lot of the control at the end of that second period, but it continued into the start of the third as well. But as soon as Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley was able to kill off that penalty, they got the quick goal, and they really have controlled the pace of play ever since.
Graff bites off that one. And on the loose puck in front, LAS positions themselves quite well in between the circles, really making it tough to sustain pressure there as Tyler Fortier brings it up. He gets a shot off and a kick save by Minardi. Had to really stretch out that left leg there to stop that. Wasn't as square to the shot as I think he would have liked, but he makes the save nonetheless. Dumped in and the Red Raiders will retrieve, pushed against the boards. And now out to the left side, takes a strange hop. Armstrong's shot touched a bit of the post. It's at least the third time tonight the Red Raiders have struck iron.
It's better in Minecraft than it is in hockey, though.
I would say so, unless it goes directly in after that. Players getting tangled up, 2 Raiders down like bowling pins. High rising shot misses the mark. Tyler Fortier keeps it at the left point. His shot is blocked. The way that Fortier gets into play, Tyler, I would say, you kind of forget at times that he's a defenseman. Icing called against the Red Raiders with 8:51 to go in the third.
Fortier's been a key part of the offense for the Blue Knights. He's got a goal and an assist.
Up to 12 points on the campaign, 3 goals and 9 assists, and just a sophomore on defense. Already wearing a captain's patch. And well deserved. Draw won by the Blue Knights. Waldron trying to throw it in the direction of goal. Looking for a redirection for Hurley, who's looking for his first varsity points. Hurley just an 8th grader, one of 4 on this roster for LAS. On the near side, Raiders able to move it up ice. Here's Sam Jaramillo. On the right circle, nudges it along for Hines. Hines getting tangled up there. Blue Knights trying to move it out of the zone. And here's Nick Fortier, the senior in there. Gets the shot, kick save, dangerous rebound. And Hurley right on the spot could not get his stick to the puck. That was good pressure by the Raider defense to shut that down. Puck will go down but will not be icing. It slows down right before the goal line, and by the time Nicosia gets to it, it's obtainable. So once it crosses, they're not going to give the icing. Berkio with an intercept. Now moving around the referee is Jaramillo. Out to the left point, Wyatt Peters. Laid out there by Romano. And out of the zone it comes. Raiders will have to reset with 7:40 to go in the third period. 2-1, LAS in front.
Wyatt Peters has had a really difficult third period, Dan. We mentioned he lost his glove earlier. during the pace of play just in that last exchange, he lost his stick, and then as soon as he gathered his stick, he got bulldozed for daring to play the puck.
CLS really grinding it out. Leader with the shot. Gets blocked all the way down to Minardi. Put the paddle down and knock it along for Peters, who'll just blast it out of the zone. Jack Hefferman, the freshman defenseman, he started tonight for the Blue Knights, moves it along for Tyler Fortier. Fortier's taken 2 shots that have found the back of the net. One of them touched on the way, the other one straight in. As here's Hunter Kucher on the right side. Kucher, his shot is offline. Armstrong will take a shot. That also will miss the mark. Blue Knights try to clear it down ice. That goes off the hand of Benner. Ends up being a self-pass in the grand scheme of things. Takes it in the left corner. Out to the right wing corner. Backhands it, trying to settle it there for Martin. Came in with a team-high 5 goals this year. On the near side, Fitchburg Monty Tech digs it out. Gendron in pursuit. Gets a stick on it against Hefferman. And it goes into the LAS zone. 6:10 to go in regulation time. 2-1 lead for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley. Here's Brett Mayu. Mayu along, trying to find Kucher. He's not able to get Wood to that.
Red Raiders just can't get any kind of sustained pressure. Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley is more than happy to play the puck, take the shots they can, and let this clock wind down.
Now Kucher in the zone, late into this shift, gets it back and shot on target. It's gloved by McGrath, and he holds for a draw with 5:44 to go in the third. FMT had the first 6 shots in this period, and since then the shots are just 4-2 in favor of LAS, and one of those 4 went in. Draw will come to the right side of Kyle McGrath. 27 saves for the senior captain. The draw won by LAS. Shaw McGrath will move it along for Hurley. Now Nick Fortier on the near side, gains the blue line to the circle, pressured by Mayu. To the right wing corner, he'll continue. Armstrong will take it away. And now trying to clear out of the zone. Popped over the stick of Hines. Hines getting in a fencing battle behind the play. Penalties coming up against LAS.
I think they might be a little bit perturbed with what Sean McGrath was doing with his stick there. McGrath immediately turns around, looks at the referee, and sticks his arms out as if to say, what did I do? Well, listen, Sean, I was watching. I saw what you did. You hit the man with your stick. You can't do that.
Kyle McGrath didn't look too pleased about that either. He shrugged his shoulders quite a few times. Standing up for his fellow McGrath.
Or ragging on him. It could be an older brother thing.
Didn't have the chance to confirm if they're brothers. They probably are, but I'm not going to say that with 100% certainty.
I said could be.
Jaramillo out in front, trying to find Berkio, top of the paint. Now a backhand chance by Jaramillo. That's blocked by Tyler Fortier and blasted into the LAS bench.
2-minute buy-in for roughing, time of the penalty, 9:57, third period.
Roughing is the call against the freshman Shaw McGrath. And the faceoff will come to the left of Kyle with 4:42 to go in the frame and 20 seconds gone on the minor. Loose puck, tried to clear it was Nick Fortier. Second effort will go off Jaramillo and out of the zone. And Alex Armstrong will go and retrieve. 4.5 minutes to go in regulation time. Fitchburg Monty Tech trails 2-1, but they have the power play for another 80 seconds. Jaramillo with some time, now will skate it up. Jaramillo trying to beat everybody. Now get the pass off to Berkio, just off the mark. Armstrong will retrieve it before it comes out of the zone. Whiffs on the pass, second effort will make his way to Berkio. His shot is gobbled up by McGrath and he'll hold. I'm hoping for a timeout late in this so I can pay off that checkoff pun.
It's sitting there. People are waiting, bated breath. We still have a triple header to tease too. We should do that at some point.
Shots 29-19 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech, but they trail. Shot through traffic, redirected wide. Off the boards, Hines trying to get to it, but it's cleared out of the zone by Tyler Fortier. All the way down it goes. Minardi will leave it, but he leaves it for Nicosia, who gets the shot off. And Minardi has to atone for his sins on that one and make the stop.
You saw, there was a moment, Dan, it was less than a second, it was maybe a quarter of a second, where Easton Minardi, he just tried to play that puck forward, turned around, saw only a man in blue advancing toward it, and if you're on TikTok, you know it was at that moment that he knew he'd messed up.
Indeed he had, but what could have been a dagger for LAS, instead he's able to make his 18th save of the contest. And the Red Raiders, 23 to go on the power. Peters out for Hines in the right circle. Hines holds, his shot is blocked. Tyler Fortier's got a lot of blocked shots to his account tonight as well, and comes just out of the zone. They've got to clear and reset. Nick Paquette for Sammy Jaramillo. Tries to nutmeg Nick Fortier. Pressure there. Now Colin Hines at the right point. 3 minutes to go in regulation. 2-1 lead for LAS. Sean McGrath's out of the box. Back to full strength are the Blue Knights.
Penalty box door is open, by the way.
But sometimes the springy hinge doesn't do its job. Someone will come over there eventually and shut that. But now Jaramillo trying to feed Paquette, finds his right skate, can't settle it down. Wyatt Peters backhands it through the slot, through a lot of traffic. Shot by Berkio is just offline to the left. 2:30 to go in regulation. And as Paquette moves it along, right wing corner. 3 players battling there, 2 Red Raiders. They'll win the fight for the puck. In the corner, turned around, McGrath kicks it away.
I think McGrath wanted to glove that one, couldn't quite do it, but he got his left leg on it.
Jaramillo along for Paquette, throws it around there. Stopped by McGrath, moves it along with the glove, popped in and out.
Again, he wants to catch it with the glove, can't quite do it.
I praised his glove hand earlier in this contest, and he's having a bit of trouble really keeping it shut. Now centered into the slot. Look at all those players in there. There's a chance. Jaramillo with the shot. McGrath holds and covers for a draw with 1:50 to go in regulation. His side holds a 2-1 lead.
It's got to be, I mean, obviously this is what you practice for, this is what you play for. These are the moments where if you're a goaltender, the game is really on your shoulder. It's got to be nerve-wracking for Kyle McGrath. 31 saves and counting tonight.
Now rushing up ice, Logan Martin with a break towards goal, saved by Minardi. I thought that was going to be the moment they'd call a timeout there, but no, LAS able to win the draw, bring it all the way down ice, and Martin with his best chance of the night.
Felt like that was the time for a timeout, but we're not going to get one, at least not yet.
Draw won by the Red Raiders. Less than 100 ticks of the clock remaining in regulation time. Hunter Kucher up with a break on. Shot saved by McGrath. And a mosh pit in the paint, but McGrath finds the puck and seals it from view.
Got to keep an eye on Easton Minardi, too. Any moment, he could be summoned to the bench. Get that extra skater on the ice for the Red Raiders.
90 seconds to go in regulation time. LAS leads 2-1, looking for their 4th win of the season, trying to match their win total from last season. As Nick Fortier can't play it along. Jacob Pruno doesn't know where it is. Puck pinballs around. Player's really not sure what to do with it, where to put it. Hunter Kucher gets a chance, and it hits McGrath square in the mask, and for the second time tonight, his block has been knocked off.
Minardi isn't even really looking to the bench. I'm surprised. Like, I've been whipping my head to the left, going down to that Fitchburg end, expecting to see Minardi kind of sneak out of his crease. No, he's right on the goal line. He's not even inching his way toward the Fitchburg Monty-Tech bench. Now we're going to get a timeout with 1:13 to play in the third period.
Guess I got to pay off this Chekhov's pun now.
Absolutely, do it.
Grafton Valley Tech, back when they were Grafton Valley Tech, now they're just Grafton and Valley Tech, 2 separate teams. But back when they were the same team, they had a kid on their team named Paul Hardcastle.
Okay.
Who even served as their captain last season. And I'm looking at him, in the roster. I see his name. That's a neat name.
It's a good
because
name.
there was a musician named Paul Hardcastle who had a big hit in the mid-'80s. And I look at Hardcastle's number. He's wearing 7. It's like, no, that's the wrong number. He should be wearing 19. Because Paul Hardcastle's big hit in the mid-'90s was 19.
Sad.
No, 19. One of the first songs to really take advantage of sampling. That's one of those, as a new wave fan, I have to appreciate that. And I was sitting on that forever if I ever got the chance to do a Grafton Valley Tech game while he was there. Never did.
Never did. But now you've told the story, and Chekhov's pun has paid off.
Let's not forget to next week, a week from today, it'll be Hockey Day in the Berg here on FATV. We'll have a triple header of action. Fitchburg Monty Tech will have the nightcap in that triple header against St. Bernard's at 7:30. Before that, Milton Academy and St. George's School at 5:30. And before that, Fitchburg State and Plymouth State at 3 o'clock, all to support Jake Tebow. You can also come out to the game, $10 for tickets, all going to a good cause. And on the draw, shot knocked down in front. As Minardi is out of the net, it is 6 skaters on for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Clock winds to 60 seconds. They've got all the heavy hitters, heavy shooters out there. Mayu calls for it. He takes the shot. Redirected twice, loose in there. And McGrath able to find it and hold it.
He never really got it with the glove, but he was able to pin it to the ice with his right leg and just kind of hold it there. Freeze it long enough to get the face-off.
Draw is controlled eventually by Fitchburg Monty Tech, but LAS trying to clear it, goes over the outstretched hand of Hines, and down the ice it goes. Hines has to get on his horse and pick it up. He's got 40 seconds to work with. His side trails by a goal, 2-1. Hines skating it up still, keeping on his horse, keeping all the momentum. He takes the shot, it's deflected high. Mayu keeps it in at the right point. Tries to move it along. And there is Hines, maybe looking for Berkio deep in the slot. Off a skate, goes to Mayu instead, and Mayu having trouble getting tangled up with sticks. A couple of sticks lost.
There have been sticks and gloves flying all over the ice for the last minute.
Equipment yard sale, Hines shoots, scores! With 10.3 left, Colin Hines gets the loose puck, his second goal of the game! On the 37th shot, the Raiders have tied it! Kyle McGrath hangs his head in dismay. Easton Marnardi trips over the bench as he tries to come back on the ice.
He did a literal faceplant, Dan.
Trying to weather the storm, and the last gasps of regulation, the Red Raiders have tied it. Not going to get a shot off in time. And so at the end of 45 minutes, it's Fitchburg Monty Tech 2 and Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley 2. We will go to overtime.
Rated goals for number 20, Colin Hines. Assisted by number 22, Sammy Gianello. And number 6, Brett Mayo. Time of goal, 14:50, third period.
Mayu and Jaramillo get the assists on the goal by Hines. Kyle McGrath did everything he could. McGrath did everything he could for that entire third period. Finally, one rebound too many that he couldn't handle came right out to Hines. It was right in front of us, Dan. We had a perfect view of it.
For 5 minutes overtime. If the game's still tied, it ends in a tie.
And you just heard the overtime rules. We will be 4-on-4 for 5 minutes. They're not going to clear the ice. Don't go anywhere. We're doing this right now, basically. 4-on-4 hockey for 5 minutes. Somebody scores, they win. Nobody scores, well, we all go home.
Yep.
Actually, we all go home either way.
And I can tell you, too, there's not really a difference in regards to how it goes in the standings between if this is a regulation win or an overtime win. It's a win nonetheless. The teams will change sides, so the Blue Knights will be going from left to right, and the Red Raiders from right to left. 35 saves for Kyle McGrath in this contest.
So we alternate periods, which means I get play-by-play for overtime, right?
You
That
what?
was a joke. I did that. I'm sorry, folks. I did that just to see Dan's reaction as his eyes went wide, and he was like, no. But no.
My throat ailment went away. If it was still as bad as it was in the first period, I would give you this.
I don't want it. You take it.
And so 4 aside, Blue Knights have been to 4-on-4 overtime twice this year. No goals were found in either of those 5-minute sessions. Fitchburg Monty Tech has been to overtime twice this year. Goals were found in both 5-minute sessions by the other team. As the bad angle shot there hits the side of that, maybe got a piece of Minardi's shoulder and deflects into the glass off the stick of Don Benner. And now up the right side, Jaramillo holds against the boards. Now to the right side, shot, cut down in front.
It's got to be tough for Fitchburg Monty Tech. They spent so long selling out so hard.
There's a great chance there. Berkio with that redirection, and that was great defense there by Jake Waldron to really shut down Berkio there, because if without any pressure there, he would have gotten on that puck and he probably would have been able to slot it past. So a minute gone in overtime in a 2-2 game. And now Nick Fortier not able to get a shot cleanly away, and on the cross ice, Minardi was laid out there. If they could have found the stick of Don Benner, he could have ended this game. Berkio's going to keep that in the zone. Now he's going to double back to the puck and make some nifty moves. Can't get the shot cleanly away. 3 Blue Knights in the way. Mayu keeps it in. He gets a shot off. It's wide. Now comes back to Mayu. And now Peters up to the left side. Jaramillo had it blocked. Helter-skelter it feels. Everything going by fire as Berkio trying to get one away. And that puck makes its way to McGrath, and he holds for a draw. 3:19 to go in overtime.
It's like we never stopped playing the third period. I was going to say the Red Raiders spent so long selling out everything they had, trying to get a goal to keep them in this game. They got the goal in the dying seconds, but they are right back on the pressure. Kyle McGrath is right back to standing on his head in net.
Shots in the previous meeting between these two teams 10 days ago was just 20-18 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech. Different goalies too. Owen Richard played for Fitchburg Monty Tech and Garrett Hakey played for LAS. Seems like a different complexion of the game is now out in front. That's kicked away. Martin setting up one of the Blue Knights for a good chance. But Easton Minardi makes his 22nd save and sends that away.
Nicosia almost got his second there.
Nearly won the game right there. Nicosia wanted to double his goal tally on the season. Came in with 2. Has 3 now. Wanted to finish with 4 with that. Here's Tyler Fortier. His shot deflected into the left wing corner. Alex Armstrong from the circle trying to protect from Martin. Halfway through overtime. Both teams looking for their first overtime victory this season. As that shot is knocked down in front. Paquette with a poke, trying to get it off the stick of Tyler Fortier. The Fortier will protect, keep a hold on it. Tries to put it through the legs of Peters. He'll stand tall, but Nicosia gains the zone. High rising shot misses top left. Now popped up on the far side. In their own end, Raiders try to pass to Paquette. He's not able to handle it on the first touch. He'll get it off the boards. Paquette trying to protect, but taken by Nick Fortier. Poked away, but now to Tyler. Tyler blasts, and it's gobbled up by Minardi into the crest on the jersey. And he'll hold for no further play. 1:45 to go in overtime. 2-2 the score. Shots in this overtime are 4-2 in favor of LAS. Fitchburg Monty Tech had some momentum going at the beginning of this frame, but since then LAS has started to get some chances. Draw comes to the left of Minardi, won by the Blue Knights. Shot from Tyler Fortier, redirected over the net. Lands behind and Brett Mayu. Pass it along on the far side. Raiders try to go 2-on-2 up ice. Jaramillo trying to battle with Fortier. They get tangled up there The Blue Knights able to get the loose puck out of the zone, but Mayu sends it back in and around.
I feel like they get tangled up was a very generous read to Fitchburg there. Sam Jaramillo basically gave Fortier a neck breaker.
Now Nick will send it into the zone behind the net. It goes. And Brett Mayu protecting. 60 seconds to go. Puck pops out of the zone. And a 2-on-2 back up. Here's the shot, punched away by McGrath. Jaramillo along, Mayu, his shot. Cut down in front, second chance behind the net. Armstrong trying to dig it out. Berkio behind the net, thinking about the wraparound, lost the handle, puck pops in the air, and it's in the net! On the strangest of trajectories, it pops behind McGrath and in. Fitchburg Monty Tech wins it in overtime.
I think it hit Jake Waldron. I can't be sure about this, and unfortunately we don't have a monitor. I think that hit Jake Waldron.
The Raiders just trying to throw it towards goal. Stuff happened. Stuff and probably happened both in quotation marks. And what I saw was the puck popping up in the air over the back.
Sammy Jaramillo.
Jaramillo gets credit for it, and listen, if anyone deserves it, it's him.
Time of the goal, 4:24 of the overtime.
That was a wildly entertaining overtime.
It
was a wildly entertaining hockey game.
It was. And I see the frustration through Kyle McGrath. He tried so hard to steal this game away, and he probably did deserve better. He comes away with 38 saves, but another loss to his record. But the senior captain played tremendously for LAS and gave them a chance to win.
Tonight's game, number 3 star with the game-winning goal in overtime, number 22, Sammy Jaramillo. The number 2 star goaltender for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley Blue Knights with 38 saves, Kyle McGrath. And number 1 star tonight, Raiders first-line player, number 20, Colin Hines, with 2 goals, including the game tie with 10 seconds left.
I think those are well-deserved 3 stars.
Absolutely. Colin Hines, a couple of goals. Sam Jaramillo, the game winner in overtime, and he was, as we said, all over the ice in the second and third periods. And listen, it was in a losing effort, ultimately. Kyle McGrath had a heck of a game. Kyle McGrath played his heart out tonight. He did a tremendous job.
He really did, and it seemed like, even into the dying seconds, LAS was going to steal this game. Just how well he played throughout, how many great saves he made. And at the end, it's a loose puck that found its way through traffic, found a hole somewhere, and Fitchburg Monty Tech was able to tie it, go into overtime, and really, it didn't feel like in those last seconds that there was going to be a case where Fitchburg Monty Tech was going to tie. And even in the last minute of overtime, it didn't really feel like there was going to be a case where they might win it. But things happened, and the puck found its way in there, and Fitchburg Monty Tech, really, it feels like it's the Red Raiders. In terms of the records, Fitchburg Monty Tech came in 7-4. They're now 8-4. LAS came in 3-6-2, now 3-7-2. On paper, Fitchburg Monty Tech has been the better team this year, but it really felt like Fitchburg Monty Tech had to steal this game.
Absolutely. You go back to 10 seconds left in regulation. Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley is leading 2-1. Their goaltenders had the game of his life. They've come into the Wallace Civic Center and they've stolen a game from Fitchburg Monty Tech. And then just a loose puck, a rebound that McGrath couldn't handle, an open net for Hines. He was able to capitalize, tie the game, send it to overtime. And then in overtime, in the dying moments of overtime, we were under a minute to play in the overtime period when the cluster in front of the net, the loose puck, it finds its way into the back, and Fitchburg Monty Tech is going home victorious. This could be a very different story for Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley, but for a couple of bounces of vulcanized rubber.
sometimes you just don't get the puck luck that you would like. But yes, LAS played a tremendous game today. Played their hearts out. Nearly came away with the victory.
And listen, Fitchburg Monty Tech played tremendous hockey too.
Yeah.
Like, they won this game. It's not like Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley had it and then just fumbled the bag, right? Fitchburg Monty Tech had to take advantage of the opportunities that were presented to them, and at the end of the day, they did that. The Red Raiders can rightly feel that they deserved to win this game.
And Easton Minardi, after giving up that goal early on in the third period, was able to battle back, stay positionally sound, and any errors that he did make, he was able to atone for. Kept the team in the rest of the way, and just a great game played by two teams. And at the end, somebody does win this game. It ends up being Fitchburg Monty Tech by a score of 3-2 in overtime. These two teams will be back in action on the 25th. For Fitchburg Monty Tech, they'll be going down to Lake Ave in Worcester to take on the Wildcats of Worcester. That'll be a 5 o'clock start. For Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley, their next game is going to be the same night, starting 90 minutes later right here at the Civic Centers. They'll be taking on the Bernardians of St. Bernard's.
And speaking of St. Bernard's, I think this is a good time for us to let you folks know, once again, next Saturday, it is Hockey Day in the Berg. We have a triple header of hockey action here on FATV. It all starts at 3 o'clock Eastern. Fitchburg State University taking on Plymouth State. At 5:30, the Milton Academy will play St. George's, and at 7:30, Fitchburg Monty Tech versus St. Bernard's. All of those games, all of that incredible day to benefit Jake Tebow. It is Hockey Day in the Berg. If you are in Fitchburg, in the area, come on down to the Civic Center. $10 gets you in the door, and you get 3 games of hockey. That's a heck of a deal. It's a good way to spend a Saturday, in my humble opinion.
It's a great deal, all going to a good cause. If you can't make your way down, then you can watch us. You can watch the games right here.
FATV.org, Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 36, the FATV app. So many ways to watch, so many ways to participate, so many ways to be a part of Hockey Day in the Berg. Again, that's next Saturday. First puck drops at 3 o'clock Eastern, Fitchburg State and Plymouth State. And then we've got 2 more games on FATV. It's going to be a wonderful day. Mr. Bolak,
yes,
your final thoughts before we say goodnight here from Hockey Night in Fitchburg.
Another spirited game we were able to bring you here on FATV, and it came down to the dying seconds of regulation and then to the dying seconds of overtime. Fitchburg Monty Tech trying to climb the mountain to the peak, trying to best the strong senior captain in Kyle McGrath. They're able to get that goal late to tie it. They're able to find one bounce of luck late to win it. And Fitchburg Monty Tech comes away winners, 3-2 in overtime over Lunenburg Ayer-Shirley.
A tremendous game, a tremendous night here at the Wallace Civic Center. Folks, thank you so much for being here. For Travis Falk, who is tremendous as always, for the incredible Dan Bolak, I am the admittedly mediocre John Gugerty, saying thank you all very much for watching. We will see you next time right here on FATV.